All right, we're about to dive deep into the architecture of our education system. But I want you to forget, just for a moment, everything you think you know about its purpose. Because we're not just looking at the official curriculum. We're going to explore the hidden one, the one designed not just to teach you things, but to shape your compliance.
And boom, there it is. This quote is really the core idea we're unpacking. It's a pretty bold claim, right? The idea that behind all the textbooks and exams, the real lesson isn't actually about getting smarter. It's about learning your place.
No, I mean, really think back on it. All those years, all those late nights studying. What if the primary goal wasn't just to fill your head with knowledge? What if it was more about installing a very specific kind of software? And that's the core metaphor we're going to use here. The education operating system. Think of it like that. A piece of social technology designed to upload a set of beliefs into millions of us. Beliefs about what's true, what's moral, what's normal, all designed to create a massive, coordinated, and predictable society.
So how does an installation like that even begin?
Well, it starts right at the beginning, in early education. This is like level 1 of the programming, where the system's main goal is just to install conformity.
Right from day one, the system makes a huge choice. It tends to suppress what you might call practical intelligence, or street smarts, the kind of thinking that's great at solving messy, real-world problems. Instead, it heavily rewards academic intelligence, which is the skill of finding the one, single, pre-approved, right answer. And why is that? Well, a workforce trained to seek consensus is just a whole lot easier to manage than a bunch of independent thinkers.
And here's where it gets really clever. The system doesn't fight our human nature, it actually hacks it. It taps into our brain's most ancient software, that survival instinct. You have to remember, for our ancestors, getting cast out from the tribe was basically a death sentence. That deep, primal fear of being excluded is still hardwired into us today.
And this is how the classroom environment weaponizes that fear. It sets up a simple loop. A question has one right answer. If you get it, you're rewarded. If you get it wrong, you're punished. Every time that happens, it pokes at that ancient fear of exclusion. And the lesson you learn is simple and powerful. It's a lot safer to agree with the group than it is to think for yourself and risk being wrong. Okay, now let's move to the next stage. Once that basic conformity program is running, high school comes along to install a really crucial piece of ideological software: the myth of meritocracy.
We're all sold this story, right? Work hard, play by the rules, and you'll get ahead. It's an incredibly powerful narrative because it makes the whole social pyramid seem fair, like people earned their spots rather than inheriting them or having the game rigged in their favor.
But how fair is the game really? When you dig into the data, you find that things like your zip code can often be a better predictor of future success than your actual test scores. A big reason for that is how school funding is so often tied to local property taxes. The playing field isn't exactly level from the start. And this is the real psychological trick of the meritocracy myth. If you believe the game is 100% fair, then wherever you end up in the hierarchy feels deserved. It convinces anyone who's struggling that it's their own fault, not a flaw in the design of the game itself. So finally, we get to the top of the pyramid, higher education. This is where you're supposed to lock in your hard-earned place in the hierarchy. But it comes at a very, very steep price. Think of a university degree as a kind of official costume. It's the outfit you need to wear to get into certain rooms. It signals that you belong, that you have the authority to participate in a specific professional class. So you're not just buying an education. In a way, you're renting authority from a legacy institution. And the price of that ticket is, well, enormous. The student loan system forces a massive trade. In exchange for a recognized place in the hierarchy, you trade away your future money, your future time, and ultimately your compliance for decades to come. Just let that sink in for a second. The debt isn't just financial, it's a claim on your most valuable and non-renewable asset, your time. You end up spending years of your life working to pay back a loan you took out for a piece of paper that was supposed to prove you were qualified to do that work in the first place. So, what's the ultimate goal of this entire operating system? It's to install a master code, the one that makes you police yourself. This is something called hidden power. It's the ability to take social constructs, things we humans just made up, like corporations or laws, and make them feel as permanent and unchangeable as gravity. This self-policing loop is the system's real masterstroke. First, you're taught these social stories as if they're absolute facts of nature. Then, you internalize them so deeply that defending them doesn't feel like obedience. It feels righteous. It feels like you're just upholding the natural order of things. And at that point, the system doesn't really need to control you anymore because you're controlling yourself.
And that's it. That's when the system achieves its ultimate goal. When you no longer even question the rules or the hierarchy or the game itself. You just accept it all as the natural order. The operating system is now fully installed.
But here's the key. This is the most important part. None of this is inevitable. It's a construct. It's a story we've all just agreed to believe. And once you recognize it as a story, you gain the power to start writing a different one. You can actually begin to override that old programming.
So the final question really is for you. Now that you can see the code, are you ready to stop running someone else's program? Are you ready to stop trading your life for someone else's story?
If you want to see more content that breaks down reality, make sure to like and subscribe.